Hello, my name is Luke, and this is our CAD curriculum that Team 3020 created. It's 6 units, and it goes through everything you need to know for CAD. We developed this for two reasons. The first reason is it just breaks down every aspect instead of having vague information that we let you know and you may forget, and be able to use this as a resource. And then the second reason is we realized that teaching to a class of 20 people CAD may not be ideal just because some people go at different paces. So having this curriculum, um, being able to pause the video and get to where you need to get to is nice for people who may be slower, and then for people who may be faster, it's nice so that when you're in class and there's someone maybe behind, you do not have to wait for them. You just keep watching the video. So those are two reasons why we created this CAD curriculum. And without further ado, this is 1.1, what is CAD? So quick overview, we're going to do this for every unit. So in this 1.1, you're going to learn what does CAD stand for, what is it used for, why do we use it, and when in the design process do we use CAD. So what does CAD stand for? CAD stands for Computer Aided Design. It's basically what it stands for. Like they, the acronym is pretty fitting for it. Just computer aided design, and it's the software you use to design on a computer. This is one of the possibilities you could do with CAD, and same thing with this one. What do we? So second question we want to answer is, what is CAD used for? CAD is used to make any object, like any object. And when I tell you any object, I mean any object. Like there's the possibilities in CAD are basically endless of what you can make um, in the CAD. Like sometimes taking the thing in CAD and making it in real life is a different story, and we'll get to that in another unit. But CADing it, you can really make anything. Within FRC, our robotics competition, we can CAD every single aspect of the robot, which is why it's very nice to use. Like in these in my CAD over here of one of our robots, you can see like bolts in every aspect, like a motor in there and chains and these constant force springs and the actual cube, like the game piece, all the wheels, spacers, and it's just really nice to be able to have everything you need, everything on the robot in this software, and then also you have a scale visual of what needs to be made once you finish. Third, why do we use CAD? We typically use CAD to make precise measurements of what needs to be made in order to complete a certain objective. So for example, we created this intake which could pick up balls, and we needed to um, first design it in 3D software and then take it to a machine that could cut precisely what we exactly needed. And we needed to figure out the distances between the two holes so we could suck up a ball properly, and that was really all down to CADing and measurements. We had to figure out the size of the ball and figure out how much it would compress, and we just mapped out the measurements and we were able to figure out the distance, which was nice because without that it would be pretty difficult to figure out where we need these holes to align the ball to pick it up. And then we also use CAD to figure out before we purchase or test something if it will work. So finally, when in the design process do we use CAD? For me personally, I use it in every aspect. I know some people like using it after the prototyping phase, and it's kind of personal preference, but it's just whatever works for you. And for me, I will tell you how I do it. So within the brainstorming of the design process, you can come up with ideas in CAD. Within the research, I mean, for me at least, I figured out pricing was too expensive for one of the things I was doing because of CAD. so I was able to switch it before we ordered all of these parts, and it was over a budget. And the prototype, obviously, figuring out what actually works, and then in the final build, having a perfected CAD. And then also the design process applies to CAD. So when you're CADing, you're gonna brainstorm how you're gonna CAD. You're gonna research how you're gonna CAD. You're gonna prototype. I mean, I wouldn't say prototyping, but you're gonna like make rough drawings before you actually make the final thing. So I'd consider that prototyping. And that's all we're covering in this episode. Stay tuned for 1.2, and I hope you enjoy this curriculum. Thank you.